This is the first ever buck I ever killed with my bow. And this is the biggest buck I've ever killed with my bow. If you're putting 2 and 2 together, I've never actually killed a decent buck with my bow. For whatever reason, I've always either killed one during rifle season or just not killed anything at all. But this year, I want to change that. I want to kill a decent buck with nothing but my bow and arrow. But it's not easy. With a bow and arrow, you gotta put in a lot of movement just to draw back the bow. And on top of that, your range is cut down to about 40 yards maximum. So whatever you wanna shoot, it's gotta be pretty close. And that brings us to right here. We're on the first bow hunt of the year. The leaves are starting to change. It's starting to get colder, but I've actually been having trail cameras out all year long. So let me tell you about some of the bucks that we might have a chance to kill this year. I'm not saying we can target any of these deer, but I am saying that this is what lives in the area, and we might have a chance to see them while we're hunting. First things first, we have Mayonnaise. I named him this because his antlers are wonky, and Mayonnaise, something wrong with him. He's not the oldest deer in the world, but his antler does have a really weird right angle turn, which I just think makes him look cool. Next, we have Low Taper Fade. I don't really know what a low taper fade is, but this probably looks like it. He's actually a 10-pointer, but instead of being wide, he's just like straight up. And then there's Goodyear. Now Goodyear's an overall good 10-pointer, pretty symmetrical, and he's definitely the dominant buck on the mountain right now. And we can't forget about the star of the show last year, the Big 10. I've actually seen this dude multiple years in a row on camera, but the thing is that he only comes to my area for 2 weeks out of the year, during the rut. I've not got any pictures of him this year, but as long as he's still alive, I think he'll be back. And then we've been getting quite a few of what I call medium-sized 8-pointers. They're not trophies. They're not gonna like put you on the record books or anything. But for my first decent bow kill, I would be more than happy to take one of these guys. But at the same time, if the Big 10, MASH, or maybe even Low Taper Fade walks out, now those are the deer I would really like to take. But let's not forget, this is hunting. We may see them, we may not. Now let's get back to the real life hunt and see if we can kill one right here, right now. And just as it started to get dark, that's when things really started to pick up. Nah, I'm kidding. We didn't see anything. Hey, but that's how hunting goes. Sometimes you see deer, most of the time you don't. And the very next day, I was out getting some target shooting in. But then I wanted to run a little experiment. I wanted to test the penetration difference between a $15 American-made broadhead versus a $1 Temu broadhead. We got some clear ballistics gel. We got 2 different kind of broadheads. So this one is the fixed broadhead. It's 3-blade fixed. It's probably gonna be loud, but it is really sharp. On the other hand, we're working with this, which is actually a fake Chinese swagger. So, kind of having doubts about it. Basically how it works is it goes through, hits the animal, opens up, starts cutting like that. Let's shoot the swagger first, or the fake swagger. Let's see, we're gonna send it through the left side, if I can. Ooh, let's see if the $15 each is actually better. This one's supposed to be a whole lot more reusable, and it's supposed to not stop when it hits bone, but let's line it up and let's find out. Oh God. That one sounded different. It looks like it hit almost the same spot. It hit a very similar spot. Look here. Penetration. Literally, penetration is less. It went a little less deep. I guess it has 3 cuts instead of 1 big slice. It has 3 little slices. Boys, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you dudes. $1.25. On the other hand, this hunk of metal, $15, probably reusable, probably not reusable. $1.25, $15. Both big cuts, both probably kill deer. Now all we need to do is just start watching the trail cameras and see if we get a picture of Mayonnaise's back. For the next few days, it would be pretty hot. We wouldn't get any bucks on camera, and we only had a few does. And from what I could tell, the rut really hasn't kicked in yet. So the best hunting should be yet to come. But this evening, I'm heading into a blind where I've been seeing 2 small bucks, roe and roe. And maybe if we're lucky, we'll see them again tonight. And let's not forget, there's always a chance that a big one can get caught lacking. Starting to get dark. The sun's still up though. I'm looking straight out here in front of me. I got some corn scattered out. so that should attract them. Yes, the spikes were showing up. They're definitely not shooters, but it will be cool to actually get out here and see some deer, especially since all week I've not been seeing anything on camera, so. We got something coming in behind us. And the deer actually turned out to be a deer we see around quite a bit. And I named him Roe because he kind of looks like a roe deer, but he's not. He's a whitetail. Long story short, we're not going to shoot him this year. But as time ticked on, I noticed that he kept staring at me, which is weird because he's not a super spooky deer. And I wasn't moving or making any sounds, but he kept staring right at me. Pretty suspiciously too. But that's when I heard something moving right behind me. Was it the Big 10? Maybe low taper fade? Mayonnaise maybe? I'm not sure. But the way it's walking, it seems like we're about to find out. Turns out this one is a doe, but I'm pretty sure I hear something else coming in behind it. A pretty good chance this one could be a buck. Turns out it was just another spike, which is no big deal, but a big deal to Roe. This was the other Roe, Roe's biggest op. And for the next 30 minutes, they battled it out in the toughest, roughest spike fight I had ever witnessed in my entire life. I'm just kidding, I think they're best buddies, but they did sprawl a little bit. All right, well that hunt went really good. We started to see our first rut action right there. Not only the little bucks fighting a little bit, but also, if you remember that doe that was just sprinting everywhere, going bananas, that is also a sign that it's getting almost that time. She's just getting jittery, and you know what? The rut is almost here. The next morning, I try to hunt in a different location. This time, there's no bait. It's just up on a ridge where a bunch of deer trails come together. Hunted there for a good little bit. Didn't see anything. So whenever I climbed down, I had some trail cameras set out close by, so I went ahead and checked them. All right, let's check this thing out. KG trail camera, 6 videos. There's me leaving it. Here is a squirrel. Here is a deer. Looks like a doe. Same doe. And then there's us today. Well, it ain't the camera's fault. There's just nothing up here. I think it's pretty clear. Well, all right. Never mind. There goes 2 deer running. Well, I don't even know what to do anymore. They were does. Well, I don't even know what to say now. All right, next camera is right here. Doe, doe, butt, doe, doe. I mean, I'm sure it's possible to kill a buck here, but I like my odds a whole lot better at the other place. On the trail cameras, we've seen a lot of does, but just no bucks. Another good sign that the rut just isn't here yet. And until it is, this is not the place we want to be spending our time. All right, guys, we're heading in to hunt. And this is what I'm wearing because it's 78 degrees today. Why am I wearing basketball shorts to go bow hunting? This is not okay. For the past week, we go from super hot, no bucks on camera, literally about to sell all my stuff and quit deer hunting, but overnight, we get a cold front, temperatures drop, bucks start moving at night, and we've even got a few starting to chase here and there. And it's about time, but I think the rut is finally starting to kick in. WWJD, what would Jesus do? Well, if I had to take a guess, I would say he'd be deer hunting because the temperatures have dropped and the big bucks are moving. This morning, I didn't end up going hunting, but we did get some daylight pictures of bucks, which means things are starting to get hot. And tonight, we're heading out to the blind where we're hoping we might catch one. I don't know, where we hope we might get to put an arrow straight through one's heart and make it die. All right, here we go. We're in. Alright, we should be good. We're on the blind. I actually think I might like hunting out of blinds better just because you can move a lot more and you get a pretty decent seat. And you can just set stuff on the ground and you can't fall out of the tree. That's pretty nice. Expect a few does to probably come in first. Maybe even the spikes and stuff that came in last time we were here. But I definitely think that there's a chance that if we can just hang in here long enough, it may not be today, may not be tomorrow, but eventually one of those big bucks is going to come walking through. It is the next day, and it is officially the first day of rifle season. Now, historically, this day's been pretty good for the channel. 3 years ago, my cousin killed a buck. 2 years ago, my cousin killed a buck. And last year, I took my dad out hunting for the first time, and he ended up killing a buck. So maybe we can keep it going, and somebody can kill a buck today. But unfortunately, I've got a late start. All right, so now I'm a little late. You know, probably should have been in the blind 2 hours ago, but I have a pretty good reason. So last night, I pulled a Martin Luther, and I had a dream. But the dream was that I was sitting in the blind, and I had 2 big 8-pointers chasing each other around, all around me. And I had my bow and everything. And I don't know who they were, but there was 2 old people in the blind with me, and they just wouldn't stop talking, and they wouldn't hold the cameras either. But that's a different story. Anyways, I was sitting there with my bow. The bucks were chasing each other. He'd come around one side of the blind, I'd draw back, and then he'd move, and then he'd come around the other side and he'd stop, and then I'd try to make the camera see him and all that. Long story short, I was having a hard time leaving a dream where I was seeing big bucks to come sit in the blind in real life and probably not see anything. So, honestly, I don't regret my decision at all. But we are almost there. There's still a lot of the morning left, and yeah, hopefully real life is 1/10 as good as the dream, because that would be epic. Alright, well, better late than never, I guess. But jeez, it was a whole lot warmer in my bed. I can promise that. Shall we rattle a little bit, maybe? Alright guys, well, I should probably still be sitting in the blind, but I'm gonna just be honest with you guys. I'm getting kind of bored. I'm over here at the pond. Whose chair is that? That ain't even my chair. I don't even know where that came from. Well, okay, that's different. Anyways, little midday update for y'all who know about the pond. Here it is. Water level's a little low, but over here we do have those solar panels and the aerator rigged up, pumping in a lot of oxygen to the pond, so that's always sweet. We got the ducks. Shantae is over there eating clover, And then the two mallards are over there, so they're pretty safe. You remember back in this video, we had a few more ducks, especially Declan? Well, we had a bobcat come get him, but if you've not seen that video, we took care of the bobcat. It wasn't easy, but we sure did it. I guess let's head back to the blind, sit tight, and keep your eyes out for high and tight, or low taper fade. I don't know, gotta keep forgetting. But unfortunately, low taper fade never showed up, and nothing else did either. So I'm heading back to the house to see what my uncle's up to.
I heard something, it was coming back, like coming to where that corn was, but it was down in that thick. It come up there dragging its leg. And by the time I spotted it, it had done got back in that thick brush. Oh, see it now, bub. It got that big thick brush and it went on up the hill there, and then when it popped that way up there, I shot at it. Don't you post that?
Over the next week, the buck activity would pick up a ton. We was getting a lot of different bucks during daytime movement. Some that we'd seen before, and some bucks that we'd never seen before. And we even got some video of bucks fighting. Unfortunately though, I was out there hunting, but it seemed like wherever I was, the deer just were always somewhere else. But that's okay, because that's just how it is. And now it's the evening, so it's time to get back out there. It started off slow, but then we seen our first deer. It was a doe, and it was going crazy. Full speed run through the woods doing figure eights. Had nowhere to go and no idea why. But not too much longer, we spotted our first buck of the evening. It seemed to be a small 6-pointer, maybe a 4-pointer. It was well out of range with our bow and arrow, but at the same time, it was a little too small for something I'd want to shoot. For the rest of the hunt, we didn't end up seeing anything else. But then, we had got something that we'd been looking for the entire season. Something we'd been trying to get, but never been able to. We got a trail cam picture of the Big Ten. Sent to my phone from my buddy that lives about 3 miles away. Now, unfortunately, Big Ten's not in my area, and I didn't get pictures of him on my trail camera. But with me being after the Big Ten for 3 years, this making the 4th, it's really nice just to get some confirmation that he is still alive and that he's still getting bigger. And who knows, maybe the Big Ten will stumble down my way this year, or maybe we'll get a chance at him next year. But for now, it doesn't seem like the Big Ten's going to be on the list of huntable bucks this year. But that's okay, because the rut's kicking in and we're starting to see a lot of buck movement. And with that being said, we've not seen Mayonnaise in a while. He's probably somewhere else. We've not seen Goodyear in a while. He's probably somewhere else. The one buck that I have actually been seeing is Low Taper Fade, and he's been hanging around pretty close. I've not got any videos of him during the daytime yet, but I have been getting a lot of pictures of him at night, which means it's really just a matter of time before he walks around in the daylight. Alright guys, we're back out here. I've not been able to hunt as much as I wanted to, but hey, we're out here, we're getting after it, and hopefully we can do something today. The woods are looking good, the temperature's looking good, and the trail cameras have been looking pretty good too. And most importantly, we've been getting daytime movement. Just yesterday, this buck was in the morning, this buck was in the evening. Both these bucks showed up yesterday during shooting time. So if I can just do that today and hope that just one of those bucks show up, either one of those is definitely a shooter. Taking the shot. No, I'm just kidding. Alright guys, I'm on the ground now. It's too dark to shoot. We didn't end up seeing anything. But before we leave, I'm gonna grab a KG trail camera over here on a scrape, and we're gonna check it. I think there's actually been some new deer coming through here that we've not even seen before, which makes total sense because that's kind of how it works during the rut. All right, looks like we're starting off pretty good. We got Low Taper Fade, and you know, he is just kind of chilling. We'll just keep flipping. I don't know what else to say. There looks like one of the good 10-pointers, once again, at nighttime. And here's another 8-pointer maybe? Keep in mind that these videos right here are actually from before the rut. Here, whenever the rut kicks in, we're gonna be able to see it on the cameras. We're gonna start getting daytime pictures of bucks, or at least we should. But yeah, if I saw him, I would take him too. He's not the oldest thing in the world, but I'm just trying to kill a decent buck. And this right here also kind of lets us know what's going on, because we have this 8-pointer and the 10-pointer still hanging together. And now right in here is when the rut really started. And just like I mentioned, here we go. We got a daytime video of a big buck. A nice buck right in the middle of the day. This was actually at 10:30 in the day, which is a really good sign. And that same very night, we have this buck. Oh, wow. And we have this buck in the daytime. I didn't get a video, so I get a picture and then a video. But by the time the video runs, he's already gone. This was right in the evening, about 4:30. Here we have this 8-pointer right after dark as well. And then we got this buck super early in the day. I think it's the big 10-pointer. And here, another daytime buck picture. This one appears to be right around 8 o'clock in the morning. Here's that 10-pointer at night. And it looks like, boom, he's taking off. He's chasing a doe. Just like that. It's the peak of the rut right here. Skip on ahead, and we have low taper fade going crazy on the scrape, leaving his scent all over it. And look at him. Look how thick his neck is. It's prime time right here. It's prime time. Just look how thick this dude's looking. That's a pretty old deer. And early morning, 5:30, we have this small 8-pointer just messing around at the scrape, being very active. And by these pictures, we're starting to get up to yesterday. This is the buck that came in last night, and he is just a wonky deer that I have never seen before. That's one really fun thing about the rut, is that deer come from all over the place, but also your deer that you've been watching all year, they go all over the place, so they can kind of disappear just like that too. And this was actually this morning before I got to the stand. It was at 4:30 a.m., but there was a shooter buck chasing a doe right there where we was. And even here at 5:02, looks like a small 10-pointer. Wow, that's 5:02. What's crazy is that I was in the stand by 6. And that brings us to today, present time, and this is the spike that I wasn't actually there to see. On my way back home from church, I seen this literally right in my front yard. Hey man, keep on walking. Keep on walking. Yeah. Now what's important about this is that he is actually clinging to that doe. And that doe is borderline my pet doe. And here's the important part. I know exactly where she sleeps at in the middle of the day. Which means come tomorrow, if he's still here, I think I know where he's gonna be. The next morning I was heading out to go sit in the stand when I actually seen the buck again standing in the same spot he was last night. Really close to my front yard. Now it's dark, so there's nothing I can do about it right now. But come back in the middle of the day, and we might just have a chance to kill this thing. But let's go hop in the stand and hunt this morning like normal. It is 8:04. We just had those does come and eat, but they just left, which is all good. But dude, a whole lot different than how the rut started when I was sweating in a t-shirt and basketball shorts, but a lot better weather to kill a deer. But yeah, I think the plan here is to hunt till about 11, and then we may go and see if we can get on that buck that we seen. Because if he's doing what I think he's doing and he's locked down with that doe, he should be right beside of her. And since that doe, I see it every single day of my life, I'm pretty sure I know where she's going to be at. All right, so here's the situation. The place that this deer should be is the same place that I actually seen the Big 10 last year. But regardless, I know kind of where he should be if he's with that same doe. Now, it's not going to be easy. There's about 20 acres that he could be in, but my driveway goes through the middle of the 20 acres, which could, if I'm lucky, let me get close enough, quiet enough to actually shoot him with the bow. We have a chance. Let's try our best. It's crazy because, listen, I am telling you, I would bet money that that deer is right in that thick stuff and I just can't see him. I would bet money. Maybe like not a lot of money, but I would bet some. Anyways, I think I'm just gonna grab the bow and walk around there and just see if I can see him. I think I might have just spotted him. I spotted a deer. But now if it's a doe, then he's right beside of it, but he's in a hard spot to get to. You can't even tell it's a deer. I don't even know how I spotted that. Where's it even at? No, there it is, there it is. Oh my gosh, right in the center of the camera. All right, that's a doe. He's somewhere in here. He is somewhere in here. We're gonna go walk that edge and see if he may be sitting there. At this point, I have a pretty good idea of where I think this deer could be at. And so my game plan is just sneak around and hope that I see him before he sees me. Or that maybe he's so locked down with the doe that he doesn't even care. And there he was. I couldn't see much, but I could see antlers, and now he's starting to stand up. Oh, no. I don't know if I... And here we are. I let the arrow fly. It seemed a bit low, and I don't really think I got a good shot on him. But the way that he ran, it didn't seem like he really knew what happened. I don't know if I... Oh, no. Oh, gosh. Guys, I took the shot. He just stood up. He just stood up. I don't know if I hit him, though. It looked like it might have went low, and I didn't hear a pop when it hit. Oh, no. It may not be too late. It may not be too late. Let's go. We got another broadhead. Let's see where he went. We might have another chance at this. That stinks. That stinks. No, he's coming back. He's coming back. Something just went down. Something either just fell down or is running back this way. I don't know which one. We're gonna go ahead and name this deer Booper. Cause buddy, he sure booped me one good time. All right, guys, I was standing right here and he was right over there. Let's go see if we can find the arrow. I'm pretty sure this dude is good to go. I think it was a clean miss. Not happy about it, but a lot better than just minorly injuring a deer. That's for sure. I'm about to die right here. I'm about to pay for it. Honestly, he might have been bedded right there. I can't tell. There might be. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't know if that's my deer, but there might be fur in that thing. Maybe I did hit it. I did hit it. I got blood. I got blood. He was bedded right here. He was bedded right here, and I was up there and I shot him. Here's fur, but it's white. It's low. It's a low hit, but it's a hit. Bad news is that I don't know if I'm gonna find this arrow. It could be anywhere through there, and if it, whatever part it hit of him, he could have deflected it. Is there any bubbles? There is bubbles in that. It could have slit a lung, but white hair is usually not the best sign. Let's follow this blood trail. Let's just see where it goes. We have a little bit of blood. And while we're at it, here's a fun fact about blood trailing. If you find a spot of blood and you're not really sure which direction, you can kind of look at it, and the way that it splatters, that's the direction it fell. So this drop came from this way and splattered this way. Lets us know he was coming right through here. All right, we're on down the trail, and he's starting to bleed more. It's a good sign. That's a pretty good pile of red jello. Not blood, that's jello for all the YouTube algorithms out there. But that is a bubble. That's a bubble. We may, oh my gosh, the blood's picking up a lot. Guys, the blood's picking up a lot. Dude, I ain't gonna get too excited. I've done this before. Dude, I'm telling you, that's bubbly. That's a good sign, and that's a lot of blood. Yeah, I mean, dude, look. Now he's pouring like a water bottle. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I think we got him. Looking at the blood, this is looking like a really good sign. Oh no, I think he's... Oh, I didn't even bring my bow. Should have brought my bow. Coming right through here, coming downhill, coming downhill. This is good blood for the deer not to die. So if we don't find him now, I think he's gonna die, and we might be able to find him. I don't know. Come on, deer, just fall over already. All right, he jumped this log. He jumped this log. He's still going. That's a good pile of blood right there. That's a good pile. It's bubbly. With that much blood, I think he's down. We have narrowed it down to specks like this and specks like that. That ain't blood. That top is, though. We're narrowing it down to little specks. He had a really good moment of bleeding, and then he really slowed it down. This is the most dramatic blood tracking experience I've ever had in my life. There's been a lot of hunts go into this, though. A lot of hunts went into this. All for him to maybe just never be found. All right, we're still on the trail. I just figured out what the big falling sound was. It's not that he fell, it's that he jumped through this stuff. He jumped through these autumn olives or whatever and left blood on the underside. So he actually jumped through. That's what I heard crashing. Wasn't him falling, it was just him running through a bunch of stuff. All right, we're coming pretty full circle. He was standing right there this morning. So he ran right where he thought he knew, but we're coming out of the woods into the field and he is not bleeding much. So tracking him through a field might be hard, but you never know. He could have went right there and died. He could be dead anywhere. It's just, when is this clock gonna stop ticking? Looking at the blood I've seen, we'll roll the replay. It was really pumping. It was pumping good. There was bubbles in it. Maybe the arrow didn't exit, and that's what's holding in a lot of blood. But just from what I've seen, I think he's dead somewhere. Maybe now, maybe in a couple hours, but I think he's gonna die. I think he's a dead deer. And it's times like this right here when that little blood splatter trick really comes in handy. Because the dot hit there means he was going this way. And when he's just bleeding a drop out in the open field, a little drop like that can help you a lot. And that leads me to the next drop, which was, okay, I lost it. Here. Going this way. Back on the trail. Yep, here's his blood trail going straight down the rocks. Man, these rocks, they don't hide nothing, do they? They sure don't. Rocks are nice blood tracking. I like this. Daggum, son. Him bleeding this much, he's got to be right here. No, he's not here. Let's find out where he crossed the road, right here. He's starting to bleed a lot more now. So he went right there, hit right here. He went right through there. He's starting to bleed again, boys. This is what we needed. Dude, I am telling you, this is like a roller coaster. I don't know what's going on. We might have to bring out Mammy for this search. It's time for an expert opinion. Ah! All right, Mammy.
All right, what?
Have you been on the porch today?
No.
You're killing me.
Why?
Just shot a deer, and it ran through your front yard.
It did.
Yeah, and I don't know where it is right now.
Oh.
All right, you're no help. I'm gone. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Tell me what you just told me.
I seen it running up the field this morning.
Oh my God.
It's not a good video, but
Oh, maybe it is then.
if he ran right through there,
And you found that hair where?
right over here.
That's so weird. Was it about 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. Jared, you got any tips for us?
Be patient.
On it.
He's going down. He's going down top the hill.
See bubbles,
You think
that's
so?
a good
Yeah.
sign.
Okay.
Because when he ran between those trees there.
Okay. That tells us a lot.
It really does.
It's so weird. I'm finding blood over here, but he found a big wad of fur over there. And we are not close to each other. This just got spicy. Could there have been 2 bucks right there together? Maybe I shot a buck. Oh my gosh. What if I shot a buck that was not the one? What if there was a hot doe in those woods and there was 2 bucks in there chasing her and I accidentally, unknowingly shot the smaller one? I think that could definitely be a possibility. Let me explain. This is my neighbor's field. This is the woods. This is a creek. There's my neighbor. And this is me. Last night, 9 p.m., I got this video right here of the big buck with the doe. Right here. This morning, I got this video of the buck right here. still in the woods. Well, let me change something. And there, I guess there's a little bit of field here, but not much. Today, meh puts on a stalk here, and I get a shot on the deer. KG tracks the blood trail all the way down and around, across the road, and right over here to the creek. But this is when my neighbor walks out. Give me a minute. This is when my neighbor walks out. 1 second. He was happy. And says he's seen a big deer walk right through the field here. Okay? Which means it would have came from here. Y'all seeing what I'm going down? Okay? Not only that, but this deer, the big one, was chasing a doe from here. And well, would you look what uncovering a story I have done. So let me break it down for you. I knew there was a big buck in these woods. So I headed down to the woods and I seen a big buck. The one we shot. I shot it. I make a ruckus. Things go ballistic. This deer runs down. This deer runs down. My neighbor sees the big deer chasing the doe. Then my deer follows the blood trail and runs over here. That means that this morning in my woods, there was the big deer and a smaller deer. And I just happened to see the smaller deer first and put the kill shot on him. Dramatic, right? And by the way, you're welcome for this artwork. Hello?
What are you doing, Kendall?
I think the story is developing.
I think it is too. I've heard a little bit more about it.
All right, so I seen the 9, which is the bigger one. I seen it last night, and it was right around this front patch of woods. And so I figured, all right, he's probably bedding down there. So I snuck down there, and I seen a buck with antlers, and so I shot at it. But now it's sounding like the one I shot may have been like a secondary buck, and they both ran across the field because the one neighbor, he saw the big buck run across the middle of the field, but I was tracking blood on the edge of the field next to the creek.
Oh.
And just sent a picture of the big buck chasing a doe in her yard right now. So maybe I did end up shooting that weird main beam.
Yeah, well, that's possible.
The blood looks like it's leading to the pond where that weird main beam might be. And he was licking his side, so that might actually be the one.
Very well could be. That would,
it'd make more sense.
That would explain it.
I guess both bucks was in that patch together, and the smaller one was just waiting to see if the big one moved off or something. All right, so right now we're watching back the shot. I don't know what to expect, honestly. I don't even know if you can see the deer in the video. You can see his back, I know that.
Oh, no.
You can see him running.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Oh, roll that rack, roll that back. See if you can see the arrow fly. It looks like maybe I hit like a little piece of grass. That's not enough to knock it off, though. I don't think it got knocked off. I think I just didn't range it right.
No. I don't know if I...
Y'all really didn't even get to see, unfortunately, what I was shooting at, but unfortunately, watching the footage this time does not help us at all. After dark, me and my neighbor tracked him a little bit, and we ended up spotting him, but he wasn't dead yet, so we couldn't do much about it. But what we could do is confirm that it was indeed not the deer I thought. Instead, it's actually this deer, which is a little bit smaller and has a funky main beam. So we decided to back out and see what happens overnight. But later that night on the trail camera, we got a picture of him up and moving, which could mean he's fine. But at this point, we really don't know. Alright guys, so it's not looking the best right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go look at the location we spotted him last night. We know that he moved because we got the trail cam picture, but I do want to go look at that spot and see what it looks like. I feel like that could tell us a lot about the situation of the deer. Alright guys, he was right over here. I think this is one of his beds. I think it is. I believe this is where he was bedded down. But I mean, really, I'm not seeing much blood at all. I'm not seeing any blood, actually. At this point, if the bleeding has stopped, and I didn't hit anything too important, then he's probably good to go. I'm just trying to find the bed that he was sitting in. I think that may have been one of them, but I don't think that was the one we actually seen him in. I think we seen him in one. He was right up here somewhere. Here's the bed we saw him in. He was kind of in this thick stuff, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, check it out. He bedded right there. Take a look at that. Tell me what you don't see. B-L-O-O-D. You know what else you don't see in that bed right there? Booper.
Check map to confirm. Taking off.
I was not hoping that it would come down to using the drone, but these are the kind of deer that you either find or don't find, and usually you don't find them just by blood, especially when they quit bleeding. We're just going to use the drone to kind of get a peace of mind and see if this guy's actually dead. All right, so he's right over here at the corner of this pond is where he was bedded last night, but we actually, well, he moved, so that's why he's not there. So I'm just going to go ahead and start the grid search with the drone and see what we can find from that. There looks like a little spike 4-pointer. Nothing too crazy, but this might be something right here. No, it's just a tree. Keep on searching. Up there's something hot on the mountain. It's a big stump. There's a deer. Looks like a doe, maybe. There's a deer standing up. I think that's stinking him. He's standing up, though. That is him. That's him. He's standing up and eating. So, Booper is confirmed not dead, and 24 hours later, Booper is confirmed standing up and eating. This dude may not be dying. I'm gonna go ahead and put a pinpoint on this guy just in case he moves. But he is up and he's eating. This could give us some really good information. He's moving just like normal. I want to see that his right side. His right side's what we actually shot. So he's licking where I hit him. If we can get over and look at that right side, it'll really give us some really good information as to what happened. All right, let's see what we can see right here. Could be our shot. Let's see. Yeah, he's up and moving. Yeah. Booper is alive and well. He's actually walking pretty fine. Yep, there he is shaking. This dude's chill. He is not going down. He is acting just like a normal deer. He does not look hurt at all. But there we go. Booper's fine. Booper is fine. To Booper I shot, this poem was made for you. But what was about to happen next, I had no clue. It all started with my arrow went flying. It hit you hard, but Booper wasn't crying. All over the leaves, your blood was dropping, but run you did, hardly ever stopping. I was confused, didn't know what to think, but I felt bad, and my heart sank. My neighbors were great, helping all they could, but this whole situation was just so misunderstood. I thought I was shooting the big 9-point buck, but it turns out that you were the one that my arrow struck. Going down, you never did. Was this a deer I shot, or the Karate Kid? Later that night, we found you laying down, wide awake and looking all around. 24 hours later, you're up, eating, and alive. But maybe we'll meet again in the year 2025. But who really knows? Maybe we'll meet sooner, or you might just go on to be like my old friend Dale Jr.